Hello there, Mad Mike here, and welcome back to the channel. And today we are going to do a little bit of an update on some of the major film delays that have been happening in Hollywood due to the coronavirus. And I might reiterate a few major ones that I have stated in the past, but a lot of these have changed. So if you're interested in seeing the film when it's going to be in theaters, um, I'm going to try and give the current dates. If a lot of them change in the future, I will make another update when that happens. But so far, like I said, we might go over a couple that we've already done, but just bear with me. So the first one is No Time to Die, which was already changed before. We don't have an exact date in November for it. I believe it was originally supposed to come out in April, and this was actually one of the first ones to be pushed back. Uh, so that hasn't changed. It is still slated to go out in November. That is from MGM. Um, Again, we haven't gotten a direct date. Now, A Quiet Place 2 was one that went on hiatus that we did not have a date for at the time when I made my previous video. Paramount has now stated that the film will be released on September 4th of this year, as opposed to what its original release date was meant to be, which I believe was sometime either this month or next month. So A Quiet Place 2 will be hitting theaters on September 4th. Then we move down to Fast and Furious 9, which, again, we went over that one, but they are moving from their original release date, which was May 22nd, and now they will be opening on April 2nd of next year. So that's Fast and Furious 9. So after that one, then we kind of go into, again, some more Disney-related stuff. A lot of these are going to be Disney because Disney is shuffling around a lot of dates right now because of the way that their film system works. The other one is Mulan, which a lot of people thought was going to just go straight to streaming and not get a theatrical release because of the way that it was kind of set up. But Mulan originally was supposed to hit theaters on March 27th. It is now going to hit theaters on July 24th, which personally I don't necessarily think is going to be out of the woods. I think that film is going to get hit pretty hard by the people not wanting to go back to the theater because of the fear of getting sick. So then we go down to New Mutants, which has been perpetually delayed, despite the fact the film is supposedly done. It was originally supposed to open on April 3rd. It still has no release date as of yet. I have a funny feeling that one's probably going to wind up getting dumped right back onto streaming. So the next one is a series of Marvel films, because Marvel has basically pushed back their entire film slate about 6 months or more. So the first one is Black Widow. Now, that one was originally supposed to be released on May 1st. It is now going to be released on November 6th. That was the spot that Eternals was originally supposed to have. Eternals is now being pushed back to February 12th of 2021. And because of that, Shang-Chi, and this is going to be kind of a domino effect, Shang-Chi is also going to be pushed back from May 7th. It is being pushed back. It will open on May 7th of 2021, as well as Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which was already shifting back because of the director problems they had originally been having. That is going to premiere on November 5th, 2021. Now, the next year gets extremely crowded because we still have a lot of titles. Now, the next one is going to be Marvel's 2022 films. Now that starts off with Thor: Love and Thunder, which is going to be premiering on February 18th of 2022. Black Panther 2 is going to be premiering on May 8th. And then Captain Marvel 2, which previously did not have a release date, is now slated for July 8th. Now, that particular film slate is very, very compact. That is, you're going to have Thor: Love and Thunder, which is going to be premiering on the 18th of February. Then about 6 weeks later, I stand corrected, about 8 to 10 weeks later, you're going to have Black Panther 2, which isn't terrible. But then roughly about 2 months later, in July, you're going to be having Captain Marvel 2. So I think that Black Panther 2 and Captain Marvel 2 have a very good chance of eating into each other's profits. I think that's a huge thing. So I don't think either one of those films is going to make nearly as much money as the first installments did because of the way that they're kind of placed. Now, the next one is going to be the Mission Impossible series. Now, Mission Impossible, I believe 7 and 8 were being filmed So Mission Impossible 7 was originally supposed to be released in July of 2021. That has been moved back to November 19th of 2021. As well as part 8 of that. So I don't know what the title of 8 is going to be, or 7 actually. They don't have. I'm assuming they only have working titles at the moment. But part 8 is going to be moved back to November 4th of 2021 instead of its original summer release date. So those are two very big films. Again, those are also filming concurrently, so they'll be released in back-to-back years. Jurassic World Dominion, or Jurassic World 3. Is basically on hold right now. The production's on hold. They haven't changed the release date yet, although it is expected to change. Now moving down to some of the Warner Brothers slate, The Batman, which paused its production on March 14th, is set to be released on April 20th. Or it was originally supposed to be slated to be released on April 20th of next year. That has now been moved back to June of 2021. Actually, I stand corrected. Sorry, that is a different release date. October 1st of 2021 is when Matt Reeves' The Batman will be hitting theaters. Again, it was originally slated for April, so it's moved back significantly. Now, originally, it was supposed to be coming out in June of 2021. That was the new release date, and it has been shifted back again since then. Now, there are also some other DC titles that are currently basically in development hell. Now, The Flash is stated to come out on June 3rd of 2022, and Shazam 2 is supposed to come out on November 4th of 2022. Now, I don't know if either of those dates were specifically listed before, but I think the Flash one was, actually. The Shazam 2 may have not been, but they have both been moved as well. So now we go down to our next one, which is Fantastic Beasts 3. And that one has paused production. Or I shouldn't say, it was scheduled to begin production in March in the United Kingdom, but that was obviously postponed and stopped. So that is currently paused. So the film is most likely going to have some kind of a delay, but it has not been listed yet. Now, The Matrix 4 is another one. That was one that was supposed to begin production in March. Or, sorry, the production was put on hold in March. And there's no clear way, or there's no clear release date as of right now. Again, the film is a long way off. It's at least a couple years, so I would assume 2022 at some point. Now, the next one is the Uncharted film, which has Tom Holland, Mark Wahlberg, and Antonio Banderas. It is based off of the Uncharted film series from the Sony exclusive video games for the PlayStation. Originally, it was set to come out on March of 2021. That is moved back to October 8th of 2021. The Avatar sequels are currently on pause. I have no idea if they are going to shift the dates on these things, because again, they're filming most of them concurrently. I think 2 and 3 are filming back to back, and 4 and 5 will also film back to back. So I'm assuming as soon as 2 and 3 are done, they'll just choose when they want to wind up releasing those. Now going back to another Warner Brothers, so Wonder Woman 1984. Originally, it was supposed to hit theaters on June 5th. That has been moved back to August 14th. Again, not too big of a move back, but that one I feel like is going to be similar to Mulan, where that might have some issues moving forward after it hits theaters. Now, Sony has 3 films that they have successfully moved back that they were originally going to be slated for at some point this year. Peter Rabbit 2, Morbius, and Ghostbusters Afterlife. Or actually, I think Ghostbusters Afterlife was slated for an early 2021 release originally, if it wasn't late 2020. Originally they were slated for early in 2021. So Peter Rabbit, the sequel, is going to be released in January of 2021, and Morbius and Ghostbusters have both been moved to March. So that is going to be probably a pretty cramped month in March of 2021. So I expect Sony to maybe take a hit on those titles during that month, because I think you're going to have a couple Marvel titles that are going to be getting released around that time as well, at least one. So you're going to have to compete with that, and then on top of that, you have the untested properties of Morbius and the attempted comeback of Ghostbusters. So I could see that going very far south. Now, another Tom Cruise movie that's slated to come out is Top Gun Maverick. Now, originally, this was supposed to be coming out on June 24th of this year. It has been moved back to December 23rd for a Christmas release. I'm not sure if Maverick necessarily comes off as a Christmas movie, but I guess Die Hard doesn't either. So the next one is Candyman from Jordan Peele, or the Jordan Peele produced Candyman. I don't believe he's directing it. Yep. And so Jordan Peele has chosen, or the studio has chosen to move that back. So it was originally stated to come out on June 12th of this year. It has now been moved back to September 25th of this year. Again, that kind of makes sense considering you want to release that maybe a little closer to October because it's a horror film and Halloween and all that stuff. So that kind of makes sense. And now we're going down to kind of some more Disney ones that are kind of in the same vein as Mulan. So you have the Jungle Cruise film, which is coming out with Emily Blunt and Dwayne Johnson. That has actually been pushed back a full year. It was due to come out in July 30th of this year. It has been pushed back to July 30th of next year. So that film has had an entire year, but that's also kind of another film in their line of movies that are kind of weird, that are based off of theme parks, like Pirates of the Caribbean, which worked itself out, but then you also have Haunted Mansion with Eddie Murphy that was god-fucking awful. So you have this. Ryan Reynolds' movie Free Guy, which was originally slated to open on July 3rd, is going to open on December 11th. So you have that to look forward to if you're a Ryan Reynolds fan. Now we also have the Indiana Jones project, the 5th Indiana Jones film, which does not have a title yet. That has been pushed back. It is now releasing on July 29th of 2022, assuming Harrison Ford is still alive to make it by that point. Now, the other one is some Pixar stuff that's going to be coming out. So, originally, I actually did a trailer breakdown for this. I actually kind of like the animation and the way this looks. Is Pixar's Soul, which stars Jamie Foxx. And also Pixar's Raya and the Last Dragon, which I saw some visual cues from it, and it looks a lot like kind of like a Lilo and Stitch, that type of an animation. I think it actually comes from the same people that did that originally. But I like the look of it. I think it looks kind of interesting. It looks kind of like a folklore-y type of thing, a magic-y type of thing, kind of like a Spirited Away, maybe something along those lines. In terms of tone, I think, or Princess Mononoke is probably a better one from the Ghibli films. But Disney's Soul was originally supposed to come out in June. It is now going to open on November 20th, which I guess was the spot that was originally going to be taken up by Raya the Last Dragon. That is now being moved back to March 12th of 2021. So we're actually getting a large amount of Pixar films in a relatively short amount of time, which I'm kind of surprised at. There's two that are going to be coming out this year. Originally, they had 3 planned, obviously, because they were going to do the Raya the Last Dragon in November. So they were going to have Onward, Soul, and then Last Dragon also all in the same year, which I think is a little bit clumpy for Pixar. And I'm also kind of surprised the studio kind of spread themselves that thin over 3 different projects. Usually one of those gets dumped off to the Disney Animation Studios. Although I can't remember if Raya the Last Dragon Raya the Last Dragon actually was dumped off to the Disney Animation Studios. So that actually makes a bit more sense. But Disney still had Onward and Soul that were supposed to be coming out this year, or that are coming out this year. The next one is another Sony title, Venom: Let There Be Carnage, which, by the way, I guess that's an update too, that Venom 2 actually has a full title, which kind of gives away the plot, I think, a little bit. I feel like they're going to wind up doing Maximum Carnage because they want to get Spider-Man involved in that somehow, now that they can use Tom Holland. But that was originally going to be released in October. That has now been moved back to June 25th of 2021. So that's a fairly big one. That's about 6 months. The other thing I didn't realize when I started looking at this was that there was a Dungeons & Dragons film that was in development that was apparently supposed to be coming out in November of next year as we move back to May 27th of 2022. I don't even think that movie's probably going to come out because that movie has probably been stuck in development hell for about 20 years. But aside from that, those are all the major films that have been delayed or pushed back, and the dates for when they will be released, at least as of now. Again, I said if those dates wind up changing, I will go back and make another video. At least if enough of them change, I will go back and make another video explaining when those films are going to come out and what the previous dates were and what the new ones are. So as I said before, I want to know your thoughts, so put them in the comments below. Are you excited to see any of these films? Are you do you plan on going to the theater to see any of them when they come out? I want to know your thoughts on that, so put them in the comments below. Hit the bell for notifications, hit the like button, subscribe, and remember, I live my life free of compromise. Do you?